Mhm.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, welcome to Cousins Critiquing Content. I am the co-host Rachel Bloomstrom, and this, of course, is
Zach Berg.
good. I forgot your name. Um, we didn't work out. I was going to do that beforehand, so it just didn't work out. It really.
Yeah, we don't have anything snappy to say today. It's not really
No, no,
this
no. Well, I mean,
this season kind of took it out of us.
yeah. Sailor Moon season, Super Sailor Sucks, whatever. Season 4, terrible. Terrible. I hated it.
Super
Well,
shit.
the movie was okay though. I kind of dug the movie.
Yeah, the Crystal Eternal 1 and 2.
Yeah, it is. I guess it's kind of like a little mini series or whatever. But yeah, it. So if you're wondering, it did take us quite a while to get through season 4. It was just so hard to watch. And if you are considering watching it, we will save you the time. Watch the first episode and the last 4, and then you get it. It's fine.
That's all you need. Unless you just want to see a bunch of crappy pickup artists in the very beginning, because that's like the first half of it is just pickup artists, and it's just like
Yeah.
like this is the most oblivious the Sailor Scouts have been in the series, and it was kind of painful to watch.
Yeah, so let's talk about the of course, now that I am live, the dog is here. Well, let's talk about the season for Super Sailor. What is it? Super Sailor Moon?
Sailor Moon Super S.
Super S. Yeah, so real quick, the basic story arc is an evil circus comes to town and they are looking into people's dreams, into beautiful dreams, through this like little mirror portal, and then they just shove their head in there. In the season 4, it looks really inappropriate too.
Yeah, they're chained to a wall when they do this. So they're like this. They're chained to a wall, and they just stick their head in their mirror chest
Yeah,
and around.
and like have a little look see. Yeah. And then a bunch of stuff with Chibi Usa learning that if she's not going to get to do her dad, then she's going to do the very next male of any species that approaches her, and it's a horse.
She becomes the biggest horse girl in the world.
Yeah, uncomfortable horse girl.
Yes.
And then they win, and then at the end, they fix it and saves the day. All right.
Yeah.
That's
so yeah. they're looking for this thing called the Golden Crystal this season. It doesn't even have a legendary in front of it. It's just the Golden Crystal. So it's like it sounds like a step down. You don't even get a cool nomenclature in the
Yeah.
front. At least
Yeah.
like we had them left in Black Crystal a couple seasons ago, and
Yeah.
we just have the Golden Crystal,
Just a golden crystal.
which sounds like a fantasy novel.
It's not even as exciting as the moon rod, honestly.
It isn't.
The rainbow moon
No, it
rod.
isn't. The was the super the crystal. They get their like kaleidoscopes with it too, which is a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. Crystal's a little better.
First time
Uh,
we've actually liked crystal more than the actual original stuff.
yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest things is that we hated so much about the season is that it was almost all Chibi Usa. It was like her story. Um, Everything that the sailors had gone through in season 3, like, was completely undone, like it never happened. Everybody somehow seemed weaker with slower reaction times. We didn't really get any sailor stories.
Yeah,
The Guardians.
yeah. All the inner guardians were pretty much kind of sidetracked, and the outer guardians were completely forgotten about. There was really no mention of them at all. So
Yeah.
it was kind of
Whereas in
weird.
Crystal, the reason we liked it better was because Chibi Usa was like limited to a subplot, and we got to see what's going on with all the Guardians, and including they brought the Outer Guardians back, and they all fought badass together. Like they were a unison ass kicking machine.
It felt more cohesive. This is one of those plots that was better compressed than it was decompressed
Yeah.
because it
Yeah,
just
we
felt like it
didn't
was
need to
all over
let
the
that.
place.
We didn't need to let that relationship between Chibi Usa and an older force breathe. It didn't need much.
It
There
was
wasn't much going on.
it was weird. Like he was hanging out in her room a lot of times. Like she was changing, and we just see him. I never seen a horse blush, but like she was changing clothes, and this horse blushes, and I said, like, turning around, like doing the polite thing. He's just watching her change, and like, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, we see Chibi Usa's panties a lot more this season. And somehow she acts even more childish when she's interacting with him.
Yeah,
Super
she's
weird.
like 7 or 8. Even though I mean she's supposed to be over 900 years old.
Yeah.
But for some reason she's still mentally 7 or 8. I don't know how that works with again maybe magical girl stuff. Like you should have like 900 years experience. So I don't know how you're still acting like a child with that much experience.
Well, the weird thing is though, when she was with Sailor Moon, when she was with Usagi and Mamoru, she acted like she was the mature one, and that Usagi was the very childish one who like reverted.
Yeah. And then there was the whole thing where they switched ages, which is like I wasn't a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
one
because
thing,
Lisa's Moon, her one of her dreams was to grow up and have boobs like Sailor Moon.
for one thing, Sailor Moon isn't old enough to actually be like, oh man, I wish I was a child again. She's a mid age teenager
Yeah.
at best, so she's not old enough to be like, oh man, I wish I was a kid again. Like you're not that old to be wanting to be a 7-year-old again.
Yeah.
Um,
Super weird stuff. Man, my laptop is
Overheating.
blinking.
Oh,
No, it's not overheating.
oh,
This thing, this thing can take a heat, but it is like my screen keeps blinking in and out.
hmm.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh well, it's fine. Um, so like tropes, we definitely have the horse girl trope. We
and we still
obviously
have
still have the Electra trope. Man, keep it in your pants, Chibiusa.
we also had the friends fighting trope for very superficial reasons. Like, do we need that? Do we need that? Like, why are I'm jumping ahead, but like Mikado and Minato fighting, even though they're supposed to be a cohesive team, it doesn't make no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, they'd already worked out all their stuff. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. We didn't take notes. We mostly just drank and lamented that we had to watch this because we said we were going to.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember this is pretty much there was a lot of for the pickup artist part. I found that so aggravating. Like these guys are going around like they should be able to recognize like these guys modus operandi, but they keep on falling for it for every episode. It's like they're not suspicious of anyone. Like
yeah,
well, why aren't y'all being smarter? You're being gullible the whole season, which was really aggravating. Like
yeah,
I can understand some obliviousness in the character, but not as much as they expressed this season.
yeah.
They're
It
like
was pathetic.
it was like Luffy levels of oblivious. Even I don't think Luffy is that bad. Like
No,
being oblivious. Like
no, he'd have picked
it's
it up on. Well, and the one I'm thinking about when Minato dances with one of the pickup artists, and then she falls for him, and then he's like no interest in her, and she just
keeps on pining away from Mikado. Yeah,
yeah,
Mako. Yeah,
Yeah, Mikado, yeah, yeah, Mako. Like it was so, and her friends were like, "We'll wait with you," instead of he doesn't like you. Look, he just walked off with his arms around 6 women. Like
like
what? What's not clicking here?
and she's been boy crazy, but she's never been like this
Yeah.
oblivious. Like, come on, you gotta have some self-respect. Have some
Well, yeah,
self-respect.
and being boy crazy didn't mean it was unconditional.
Yeah,
If they did something that upset her, then she was like, you know what? F that guy. It was weird.
it was.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
Them,
the person,
and so they were targeting pretty much anyone. We had Fish Eye, who was targeting like a little boy at one point, and the little boy was like, "Aren't you too old to be hanging out with me?" And like even he called him, "Aren't you a little bit too old to be trying to hang out with me?" And he didn't. Fish Eye didn't take that well, and that's when he attacked him. But it was
yeah,
weird.
it was very weird. There was just this really, and this is like the precursor to the pickup artist movement really getting big. Um, that would be early 2000s when we really see like VH1 pick up that show, and the book came out, the game, which is just terrible. And I am doing a series on The Enemy is Woman Into the Manosphere on my radio show that Zach also shows up on sometimes. So
Mhm.
if you actually want to know more about that, we did just do an episode on pickup artists. So that was largely focused on their tactics. And then this Friday, we'll be looking at incels, but also specifically the violence and the attacks that happen. So there will be some stuff on the pickup artists there. So, I can say one thing I did like was that they did show how predatory pickup artists are. And because a lot of people moved away from that, and later people are like, oh, it's so cheeky. Look, Barney from How I Met Your Mother, who's a terrible person also.
That's worse.
Yeah. And so I do think that they kind of handled it well because they never had those guys in a good light.
No, they're hanging out at bars, passing around pictures, like, oh, this is my target for the week. This is what I'm planning on doing to get them. And yeah, that's pretty much disguise, subterfuge,
Yeah.
pretty much anything they can to get in their hearts or
Get
dreams.
in there. Yeah. Which was very private, and it was just pretty rapey. Um,
Yeah,
because like I just remember seeing the first time that they did that, and they like stuck their head in. I'm like, that looks so. I'm not sure how aware they were that at least they were doing that in a good way. Like, by not letting them. Well, they do eventually get let off the hook though,
yeah,
because Fisheye evolves, and Fisheye realizes they don't like all of these things they've been doing.
yeah. But
Um,
they eventually get destroyed by Zirconia and the Amazon S quartet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but didn't they come back to like they got to go back and live in the dream world or something?
something like that. Yeah,
Something.
as their animal cells. I mean, they weren't really human.
Yeah.
So they lived out as their animal parts in the dream world. But
Fish and tiger and hawk.
yes.
But whereas in Crystal, those three characters were Millie, like limeresses, and they just were randomly brought to life to fight, and then they all got whacked pretty easily. And we had none of the pickup artist stuff.
Which is fine. Like I said, it was better. It was better compressed. They're trying to get through it. That was like 3 hours of stuff as opposed to what was it, 52 episodes, 26 hours of stuff.
Oh man, God, saying it out loud feels so bad.
Yeah, it's a whole day's worth of content, and half of that was just the pickup artist.
Yeah,
and
they accomplished in the end nothing. So
No.
maybe the whole point of that was for commentary on pickup artist scene. I don't know. Maybe that was their decision.
Because they could never figure it out, like they could never figure out where Pegasus was at, even though it should have been like the most obvious thing in the world. Like, he only shows up when this little girl calls for him. This little pink-haired girl calls for him. Huh? I wonder who is toting Pegasus. Like, and they look everywhere else besides that there for Chibiusa.
Yeah,
Like,
and then so after we get rid of them, they bring to life the Amazon quartet, which in the show they were brought to life from like orbs or something.
They were on Earth in the Amazon, but they got
corrupted. The movie.
Yeah, they got corrupted by was Nephilia.
Right. So in the movie, in Crystal, they were like asleep in the Amazon, and like we get hinted later that they're going to be guardians for Chibiusa, but they've been corrupted through their nightmares, and they're like, so they're doing evil for the dream because they're asleep or whatever, because Saturn had to wake them up. But in the show, they were just like, they came to life from these like balls that Zirconia had, and they ended up like being trapped back in them. I don't know. It wasn't really very clear. Were they also animals?
No, they weren't animals. They were actual people too, because they ended up turning on Nahalia as well in the original series. Like they took the golden crystal away from Nahalia because she's a fool and just realized when her power item's been swapped out for a pineapple, because she wasn't a great villain. She didn't have that presence like the wise man or Beryl or Phantom 90 had.
She was really obsessed with being pretty.
Yeah.
Very narcissistic.
She kind of looked like Black Lady from season 2.
She did. And also like her whole storyline on why she was keeping Helios prisoner, like for her own amusement, is pretty much all it was in the show. But she wanted the golden crystal too. But she didn't need, I don't know. It wasn't very fleshed out. For as many episodes as there were, she wasn't fleshed out very well.
No, she wasn't. And speaking of the golden crystal, like I kind of like the way they handled that better in Crystal as well, because like I was like, well, why is Usagi trying to strive for this thing? Like, why does that make it more powerful? Turns out in Crystal, it's Mamoru's thing, and so that's why they work together, like the golden crystal and the silver crystal.
Yes, so that's way better. Yeah, because the whole time in the show, Usagi, like very early on, Chibiusa's like, oh, this is how we're going to do power this season. And at one point she's like, wait, what are you talking about? She's like, oh, never mind, I'll just do it. And didn't use her own silver crystal the whole season until the very end, and just relied on the power of Pegasus to be channeled through her moon rod.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Yeah, because like
she's already the most powerful being.
Yeah, in the previous season they used like the combined powers of the Sailor Scouts to turn her into Super Sailor Moon. And in this one, it's like, oh, it's just Pegasus. I don't know. He's in Pegasus as the power source. I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't think neither of us were.
No, because why are you, like, there's no way that he's more powerful than Sailor Moon. I just don't believe it.
I don't either. especially since he's I'm gonna say a minion. He's not a minion. He's a subordinate of Endymion.
Yeah.
Why would he be more powerful than Sailor Moon if he's subordinate to Endymion? Like it didn't make sense.
No, it did not. It did not. But yeah, but you're right. In Crystal, it was pretty lovely when we, it's like awakening in Mamoru like it did for Sailor Moon. And I do think that was much better for sure.
It was like and how they were kind of getting affected because the Earth and Moon were getting corrupted, so they were getting sick as well. And the Guardians had to come together and heal them and fix them. So they actually served a purpose, which in the original series they were just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really do that much. Like all their attacks got negated for pretty much the whole season.
It was great to see the team back together. The whole.
It was.
And yeah, literally every decision that was a difference in these two shows was made for the best. Like getting rid of the pickup artist, good decision. Having all of the Guardians included in the story, good decision. Minimizing Chibi Usa, great decision. Let's not pretend that they didn't just have season 3. Perfect. Letting them use their own power instead of some boy who turned into a horse and works for somebody else.
Some subordinate that's more powerful than the person he reports to. Okay.
Right. It was so weird.
It was.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how the season ended. The Amazon quartet turned against the Thalia. Nehalia. Yeah, they helped them, and it's pretty subpar ending.
Yeah, it was weak. And then she went back in the mirror world and got booted, and she might be sleeping or whatever. The ending in Crystal, though, was pretty epic, especially with the fall and Sailor Moon trying, okay, so we know that they can fall from the sky and not get hurt, but somehow we needed her to wake up Chibi Usa so that they could use their power to not fall and land on the earth. But it was kind of a cool scene.
It was. It looked good.
Yeah. That would have been the best time for a flying horse.
It would have.
That would have been great timing.
But then he showed up. But then he showed up afterwards after everything's already done. And he was riding himself at one point, which was
at the very end of the movie. Yeah. But let's talk about how weird this moment was. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen.
Okay.
And we just want to share one of the most uncomfortable moments that we had in the show watching. Here it is.
The new moon's magic has fulfilled your dream of becoming an adult. But at the same time, that magic of the new moon has cast a shadow over your true dream.
My true dream, Pegasus?
You must get it back. The light of your true dream. If you don't, I will never again be able to find you.
What do you mean? Are you telling me I'll never be able to see you anymore? No! No, that can't happen! I don't want that! No, Pegasus! No! 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 It's too big.
Young man. of your beautiful dream. From Elysian, I watch over the many dreams of the people of Earth, and I stand guard over the golden crystal. I am called
Oh,
Helios.
all right, enough of that. I don't want to see
Yeah.
him.
So she,
But yeah, notice how he went from, if you don't remember what your real dream is, which is me, then and revert back from being a grown woman, then I'm just not going to see you anymore. Oh, you're small again. Hubba hubba.
yeah, the look on his face when she turned back into a kid version, like,
Yeah, he was like,
"Ooh."
oh yes, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, then the kiss, like then that kiss, like that's like one of the most awkward and disturbing. Like she was leaning forward to kiss a horse person at
Right.
that point.
And she really did kiss a horse. They just changed it to show us that he's a human underneath that, but we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
We did not know he was anything but a horse.
yeah, it was. Well, she didn't. We saw him as the human capture before that.
Oh, maybe, but she didn't know. Yeah, she thought, she was like, oh yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna
he
do
might
it
have
with a
mentioned it to
horse.
her, but she just had his word to go off of.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was really awkward to watch that. Like I felt kind of grossed out.
yeah, and like she even acts younger around him, as we mentioned. He's what, 14, 15, and she's like 8. Like,
Yeah, 7 or 8,
yeah, I like.
7 or 8.
I mean, Chibius has been wanting to do Mamoru, and he's like 18, so. And her dad.
Yeah.
She was already raised by him, and then went and found him in the past and was like,
She likes those awkward relationships or taboo relationships.
well, the writer does. I mean, the writer's the one putting him in there.
True.
It's bizarre. I was really glad in Crystal, though, she finally was like, you know what? He really doesn't love me like Usagi. I should probably quit pining after him.
And go after this horse.
And then I'll go after a horse.
Horse of a horse, of course.
Unless, of course, the Pegasus horse is the Helios of, I don't have anything else to rhyme with it. I was so close.
You're there. We should
I
have
was
worked
so
on.
close. And then I was like, no, it's Endymion. That doesn't work. I didn't want to see it.
Maybe he's going to pull their carriage when they get married.
They're going to ride off on him together.
Yeah.
Oh, man, not good.
I hope
No,
that.
and like I read somewhere that this was one of the most popular seasons in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember where, but I was like ranking seasons and I expected it to be on the bottom of the list. And on a couple of lists, it was the best or the second best. And I was like, what is culturally happening?
I was looking on Reddit and I was like, this one's the Reddit is kind of the total opposite of what you just said. It's like this one was this one was kind of like the more questionable seasons just because of the relationship between Chibiusa and Pegasus, because it's weird. I mean, I'm saying that it's a cultural thing, but I mean, as worldwide, that's a weird relationship. I know Japan has a very huge fetish with like young people, but this is weird. There's no. I'm sorry to say, like this is like one of the weirder stuff I've seen.
It was,
I don't know. It's some people, I guess, different. And I can't say different strokes for different folks because some of those strokes are just weird. Like,
well, I mean, and yeah, because lollies. I think lollies are the most uncomfortable character. I cannot stand lolly characters.
No, like Wendy.
Yeah, and especially like when they sexualize, because they're constantly sexualized. And even if they are of age to make it okay, they're still acting and looking like children, you know? Like
No,
even though,
she's actually 800 years old, but yeah, but physically she's 8, and she's acting like she's 8. So that's
yeah. And
just because you say
yeah,
she's that old, but she's acting like a child, it doesn't make it any better.
it doesn't, no. Yeah, I would say like since I started watching anime, that has been one of the tropes or the repeating character types that I have disliked the most. They even do it in boys too. I would say that Gon in Hunter x Hunter
Yeah,
is a bit of
they'll
a
just
lolly.
Shota, Shota. That's what that's considered, like
The boy
the
version.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially with like, oh, now I'm gonna get uncomfortable thinking about Hunter x Hunter and how they
Ahsoka.
sexualize. Yeah, Hisoka. How he, yeah. And how popular of a character he is. People loved him.
Like,
His world is weird.
so weird is his name sometimes too.
Oh yeah, and like moans and groans on and just thinking about him
Yeah.
like, yeah. Okay, well, we got critique, judgment, modern social critique, analysis themes. I think we've been pretty much talking about that. Cinematography, graphics.
You know what, the art this season doesn't like capture me as much as like the previous season. It's supposed to be a dream arc, but like the only really dreams we saw were like Chibi Usa and when she was talking to Pegasus, and even that is just pretty much like crystals in the background. There's nothing like that
Yeah.
captured my eye like in previous seasons.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest complaints once they started looking in people's dreams. Like, we can't see what's inside this person's dream. Introduce us to this character. And like
Or like
they'll say, like, oh, interesting, but like, can we get a 30-second clip?
yeah, we're gonna see something. I want to see something wild. We're looking in people's dreams, like I want to see something weird or something. Like,
Yeah. I mean, y'all had so many episodes, like we could have gotten that in less Chibiusa and Horse.
yeah, there's
I
there's
really, that's where I feel like they missed their biggest opportunity for creativity.
yeah, it's the dream arc, but we really don't really see anyone's dream. And it is a missed opportunity. Like we could have like looked at least one of the scouts, seen like one of their inner dreams or something.
Yeah.
But
Instead
I
of
mean,
them just saying, like, my dream is to get married and have a family. Like, right, but what does that look like in the dream? You know?
yeah,
Or some of the characters, the side characters, like that ballerina couple, like that would have been interesting.
yeah, or the cook. Like I don't know why the cook that took back her husband and who left for 20 years. Like why? Um,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like pretty much any of the decisions made in that.
yeah, there's
Crystal,
really
though, the art was pretty awesome.
it was, especially like at the end when Sailor Moon turned into her super form and had wings and stuff. That looked good.
Oh yeah.
Or when Ami was like drowning in the or falling through the water and she's met her mini self and then she got powered up. I think that looked pretty cool, like how she was like falling through the water before she got her power
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that was very kind of dreamlike. That was very interesting. So
Yeah, we kind of saw that with, when the inner scouts fought the Amazon trio, because we saw that with
yeah, all
her
of the
and
other
Fish
scouts had to
Eye.
do that and wake themselves up.
Yeah, and I think that was needed. That was really well done. Because
Yeah.
we saw Ray with Phobos and who was the other, whether the
Oh
two
yeah.
crows.
And they also all got a new attack.
They did.
There was like
They
no
looked good.
powering up in season in 4.
I think there was because they
In
did
the
get those
very
new.
end, in the last 4 episodes, but I mean, like
Yeah,
all that time in between, there was nothing happening. There was
they really had
nothing happening.
no. They really had no development. They had some regression as characters. Really, besides
Yeah,
that,
like Ray wasn't even dating that guy anymore after
yeah.
they worked so hard to bring them together.
No mention of him anymore. Even though I know he was a filler character, but I mean, they could have filled him in on this season. Like they pretty much ignored his entire existence.
Yeah.
Um,
And his history of being there for Ray. Because I really
Yeah.
liked that, you know, like he was a really nice character and
was.
he made Ray more tolerable.
He did because they like even though it's like she was rough around the edge, but he was willing to deal with that
Yeah,
and kind of softened her up, and
Yeah.
then he was pretty much forgotten about.
it was rude.
Do you want to mention how like the grandpa is totally different in Crystal?
Yeah.
Like in
We
Crystal,
totally got rid of tiny pervert grandpa.
yeah. Now we got sick, tall grandpa.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I wasn't mind with them deciding to change, but they didn't do anything interesting with him.
No, he was just there. He was just there so Ray could take over the temple for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's tall now and he has a full set of hair and a mustache.
And he's sick.
Sick
And
old
he's
man.
nice. He says nice
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And she had those two crows, which were pretty cool. And it kind of helped her out when she was stuck in the mirror.
Yes, the crows were dope. I really liked those.
Yeah, I
I
hope
wish
they
they'd
make
been around the whole time because it made it seem like they were.
yeah, like she has familiars, like which is cool because she's a priestess and maybe
She wasn't wearing a cross. What was that? She was wearing a cross in the season.
she was like, what's up? Why is a Shinto priestess wearing a cross? That doesn't makes no sense to me. There's no really crossover religious rites with that. Like why would she be doing that? It's like she even mentioned before, like she want to get married in a church like that because she's not into that type of ceremony.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah.
Dialogue. I mean,
I feel like
They're
the
not
cats
known.
were kind of. I feel like the cats were kind of like worthless this season. They really added nothing. They brought Diana in, and she did like. I don't remember anything memorable with her.
I
Uh,
do remember in Crystal though that they have a human form.
Yeah, that was the first time seeing that. No, like Artemis turned into a human to save Venus.
You know, so yeah,
Hmm.
in the most painful way possible,
Yes.
like catching her up by the arms, like with their nails just dug into her skin. Oh man, what happens when you don't have thumbs, though, man?
Yeah, I gotta do something. But
Yeah.
then he turned into his human form and saved her.
He
Until they
does.
got like smushed and I think they fell through. But she was fine. They recovered.
Yeah, she's fine. Those cuts are probably what the worst part of the damage was.
Probably. She didn't seem
Um,
affected by them.
Nah. Yeah. So anything else you want to bring up about him?
No, I can't think of anything like we've talked about the cat. I didn't. Cats did nothing in the original series this season. They were just kind of there.
I did like the new attacks, especially Ray's new attack.
Yeah, the sniper arrow.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was pretty dope in Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And,
all their new attacks. And I think it was also the first time that Jupiter used an Earth attack.
that crown. The crown. No, she used it in the crystal. She's been using earth attacks before.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, she had
Okay.
that thorn crown that they gave her in crystals. Like, yo, that is dope. Like, it's
Yeah.
accessorizing. It looks cool.
And Haruta's world shaking looks so much cooler in Crystal than it did in the original series.
They did, and they brought back Pluto with the dead screen, which was it's my favorite name for an attack. It's
Yeah.
so dope.
It is. It is.
Screen.
And then we got to see Saturn and Chibi-Usa pair off again, and they make a pretty good team because Saturn's the most powerful. So who else should be watching out for her?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they made
Saturn
use
so fast.
and they made use of some of the weapons from the last season because they had Mitru's mirror for a large part of the season before she came back, and they were using that.
Yeah,
So they were actually using stuff from the previous season in Crystal that they.
yeah. And the action was better. It
It
wasn't
was.
like the same thing over and over again. Because that's basically what it was. Season 4 was just Super S sucks.
Just they've been making the same mistakes over and over again. Like they learn nothing. Like there's these predatory guys looking for young women, but they somehow failed for them every time. Every
Right.
time
And
they
they
met.
don't even change the way they look. They just change their clothes.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
like come on, use some common sense. Pay attention. Like you're smarter than this. You
Yeah.
should be smarter than this. You're veterans. You shouldn't be falling for these simple tricks.
Right. And well, in season 3 was so badass. Like
They figured. Yeah, I'm hearing season 3. They figured out like where the enemy was located. They infiltrated their base. They were looking for information, gathering information on them. And this one, they just kind of fell
wandered
into it.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was bad.
they had really nothing
I wonder what
to.
list I was looking at that had it listed so high.
I don't know.
But I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I only saw on Reddit like people were like, this season was kind of questionable.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so far if we were gonna rank them, I would put Super S, that's season 3. That would be my number 1.
This is Super S. Season 4 is Super S.
Oh,
Season 3 is
then
Super.
yeah, Sailor Moon Super. Season 3, Sailor Moon Super. That would be my number 1. And then Sailor Moon Super S, season 4 would be my least favorite. And I guess R I like. Yeah, I would put 1 as 3. Yeah, so I would rank it on top. It would be 3, 2, 1, 4.
Okay, I would have it. You said 3, 1, 2, 4. I was going to pretty much the same way because I did like a lot of stuff in 1, and I did like a lot of stuff in 1 more than I did in 2 because Chibiusa came out in 2, and the dark black lady and her the electric complex. Like I was like, but like the one where they had to sacrifice all the scouts, and so yeah, 3, 1, 2, 4. 1, I think 1 has more memorable stuff, more memorable scenes.
Maybe I'm mixing up what happened in each of them. I might be having. I'm so bad once I move on from these things. Like I just my brain like merges everything together after a while.
Well, then we had that filler arc, which is kind of part of R, which was the with the plants with the brother and
yeah, because I like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
weird.
And I like that. I like because it was very artistically done. Like I remember some of the like visually. I remember that more than I do some of the stuff that happened this season we just watched. Like that, the Makai tree. The Makai tree looked dope. It was a cool location. And this one was just kind of like.
And so was the lab. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, the lab and Super S, or Super S, Super. Yeah. So,
I really hate the names of these seasons. Is Stars the next episode? The next season?
It is.
Okay, because that seems to be on the top of a lot of lists. So.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people like Stars. So it was supposed to be like a big shift in quality from what we just saw. I mean, it couldn't get any worse. Knock on wood, but it couldn't.
Yeah,
it really
well, we know it doesn't because it's one of the most favorite arcs, which is kind of weird then that they didn't continue the show after that.
It's losing interest about that point. It's been on the air for, I think the last season was in '99. So.
But it wasn't. That's why they brought Crystal back, because people wanted it so much. They loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess they ran out of different uncomfortable relationship types, is my guess.
Yeah, I mean, also you don't want to do it for too long. Like,
And be
It's not that
epic
type of.
like One Piece? Yeah, right.
It's a different story. Sailor Moon and One Piece are different stories, and they were,
Already powerful.
yeah. Like Sailor Moon is already pretty much powerhouse, and this was like I think these were released monthly. I think these are monthly chapters that are coming out, so that's why it dragged so much because they were coming out concurrently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I know I said that, but like thinking about like, I mean, how many times can we just watch Usagi get the smackdown, which is why they end up with 1,000 years of peace because people quit trying it, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not gonna win.
no,
Oh, bye.
like, there's only so many power. It's that power creep. Like how much more powerful can you make a villain? And it's tough. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of the problem that Dragon Ball faces. Like that's why they keep on like just throwing shit out there that just doesn't stick sometimes. Like once you get into like the Galaxy Buster areas, it's like I don't care unless
Yeah.
it's like unless it's like Gurren Lagann, which was dope, but that was like a fast, and that was only like I think 30 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. That's why you got to start out with your characters not being that strong. I feel like the show has done a better job of slowing their growth a little bit, but then it doesn't matter because always when it comes to the big baddie, Sailor Moon just pulls it out of somewhere, and like even if she didn't exhibit the potential for that power before, yeah. So
Yeah, it's one of those shows where the power creep is snuck up too fast, and there's really not much further you can do it. Like she's already rewriting history, and like I mean, you had Sailor Moon, like Sailor Saturn, like destroy the kingdom, and
we could, they
reborn.
could do a prequel though.
You talk about
Like,
for the Silver Millennium,
mhm.
yeah, or go to the future.
There's some stuff in the universe that they could do.
Let's check out Neo Tokyo. Let's go to the future. We don't need everything
Yeah.
said in the present. Let's check
Yeah,
out
and
the.
then let's see, and then they could wreck the future.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard like to worry about them. Like we know because we know Chibiusa is going to be born eventually.
Yeah,
So we know they got to survive for her to be born. Otherwise, you got a Back to the Future type scenario like that she would have never existed.
yeah. We could even
so-
threaten her existence by having her blink out so we don't have to watch her tie about her dad or horses.
Yeah. So
Let
hey,
her blink out for a little bit.
let's go to the future. Like we've had enough stuff in the present. The present's boring. Actually, no, it's
Yeah.
not boring. But the present too scary right now. But let's go to the future.
I agree. Yeah,
New
but
threats.
we'll see what Stars is. I feel like Stars happens at the same time period as well.
I think it still takes place in the present, that present that came out.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing like, going to the past and seeing how Queen Serenity came to be, because and how Sailor Moon was raised originally, and like we know all that stuff happened, but we could see it before Sailor Moon was born. I don't know. That's also a thought.
It could be interesting,
Who knows?
but
But I
who
don't
knows?
think
Who knows? Who ever see it?
Yeah. Who knows? It probably won't happen.
No.
Um,
Oh, did you see the new trailer for? I think it's coming out in 2023. They had a trailer. I think came out yesterday or the day before for the new Eternal movie.
oh no, I thought I did hear about it though. I heard something was coming out.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. Do you want to check it out real quick while we're still on the air?
Yeah, let's watch it. Let's share it.
Where is it? Here.
And then while you're pulling that up, I just gotta say, like, I'd been putting Inuyasha off. Like it kept popping up in recommendations, but I don't know, something about the way they looked, and I thought it was like all gonna be total feudal, and I just wasn't really in the mood for it. But it is so good. It is so good. I am so loving it. I really love Kogame. She is a
Kagome.
delightful character.
Inuyasha, Kagome.
Yeah, and I hope that they don't keep them apart for too long, but I have a bad feeling that they're going to be like a will they won't they forever, and that's going to get
Kinda.
on my nerves
Yeah.
because they obviously do like each other already, and I'm like 12 episodes in.
The M and then they bring well, I'm not gonna ruin it for you. I'm not gonna say anything, spoil or
Yeah.
anything. Because I mean you're still early on. You're in episode 3?
12, I think.
Oh, 12. Okay, so you met some of these side characters like Sango.
I've met the Fox kid.
Oh, okay. And I think there's Morocco too, the priest.
Oh, the sister, the
No,
high priestess lady.
no. It's he's like a monk with the beads on his hand.
No.
No, okay, you met him yet? Okay.
Yeah, no. I started watching the intro at first, and I saw a whole group of people together, and I'm like, I haven't met them yet. I don't want to see anything.
All right. Well, here is the trailer.
もしも私がセーラー戦士でなかったら、こうして仲間たちに手を差し伸べてもらうことも、出会うことすらなかったのかしら。わかんない。今までの戦いとは違う。いつもすべて私のせい。私が持っている力のためにみんなを巻き込む。もう止められないかもしれない。どんな時も仲間が命をかけて私を守ってくれる。そんな私だからこそ、私にしかできないことがある。私は信じてる。必ず私たちの未来はやってくる。
I don't feel like I learned anything in that.
Yeah, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters, looking cool.
I guess it depends on who you are, because I like characters, and I want to see characters grow or change or something happen to them.
But it was a 60-second trailer for something that comes
Yeah.
out next year.
Well, it
so-
does look like she's really gonna try to explore. It looks like she's gonna put herself in danger so that everybody else can stay out of it, which she's done that before,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out because they all have to come and rescue her anyways. But you know what? I would change it. I would say I did like season 1 over season 2. Season 1, where they all literally give their lives for her to save the world.
Yeah, it was great. That's
Yeah,
that's
I
why I'm
forgot.
looking for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an incredible season. I was not prepared for that to happen. I was like, when are they gonna come back? And they're like, no, they're dead. Like, what? They're really dead?
Yeah, they didn't know they were going to come back, so they sacrificed themselves, not knowing they were going to come back. So that was cool.
Yeah. They were really strong too.
They were.
I mean, they weren't really strong too. They were like still early on in their development.
Yeah, they were
just-
still. Yeah, I mean, Queen Bear was pretty much bodied them. And she kidnapped Mamoru at that point. So, like he wasn't with them at the point to help them out. So it was
Yeah.
pretty much just them against the Dark Moon.
Yeah. So I wonder who the villain's gonna be next season.
So I mean, it's a star. Maybe it's a galaxy level type
Must be.
villain. I mean, we've had
It's
Dream.
so bad that Amazon Quartet in the show aren't really. I feel like in Crystal they might come back and help sometime, but
I think they're going to come back next season because they weren't killed or anything this
Yeah.
past. They were still alive. They were just kind of. So I think they're going to come back in Galaxy or Star,
Yeah, maybe.
whatever it's called.
they're pretty iconic. Their hair and everything.
Yeah, that green. See, I have the here. We pulled up the
Oh, right.
hair. All right. right. Then we can just. I'll share this, then probably call it quits after this because there's really not much else to talk about. Here's the Amazon trio. That's Helios and Pegasus.
Oh, no, you're not sharing it.
I'm not. Oh, am I sharing? There we go. Okay. Helios and Pegasus, Tiger's Eye, Hawkeye, Fisheye, and here's the quartet series.
That hair.
Yeah. The one June is the one with the hair. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know how that works.
Headdress.
Yeah. That is an interesting hairdo, June.
I wish they
And-
were like bells and it jingled when she walked.
That'd be cool. But they kind of look like apostrophes or dumplings, green dumplings.
I don't know, but those pants are pretty rad too.
Yeah. Like those Arabian pants. And Vespas also has, it's somewhat interesting. It's not as interesting as June's hair.
Yeah, or Pala Pala. I like Pala Pala's hair.
Like that. Yeah. It looks like
The braids. And
it kind of looks like a staff, kind of, because it's so stiff and
yeah. Pretty cool.
okay. It is.
Well, I guess this will just be a shorter, sweet episode.
Yeah, but we never actually mentioned Zirconia because like who cares about her? Yeah.
She's just wise man downgraded, wish list wise man.
No, well, Wise Man was actually a cool villain. Zirconia was just kind of like a
Old lady who
who had that face shirt.
Yeah, a grumpy old lady. She was cooler in Crystal, like everyone
was.
but she was stronger in Crystal too.
She was, because that face shirt was actually something. I was, oh, that's a face, and oh, it was a face because she actually started screaming and sucking stuff in. Like, oh, that's a lot cooler than what she did in the original series,
Definitely.
which I don't remember what she did. Like she got beat. She got betrayed. That's what she did. That's what happened. Like, oh, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Yeah, so that's also a common thing that we've seen. Like the big boss betrays the person right underneath them for whatever reason. We've seen that a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird trope. It's one, I mean, it makes sense sometimes, but I don't think it's made sense in all of these circumstances.
I think the only time it hasn't happened is with Barrow because she wanted Mamoru for himself, but then he came to his senses and him and Queen's Princess Serenity teamed up against her. And that's the only time it didn't happen. Every other season besides that, the main big bads betrayed their subordinates.
Yep, and they all want Mamoru.
Yes.
Mamoru is a highly coveted man.
I guess so. Because he's going to be a doctor.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, I had really nothing else to say. I just wanted to mention last part. So we didn't mention her at all, and I did want to mention that
Yeah,
that trope that we've seen a lot in this series with the main betrayal.
sure. And we will try to wrap the Sailor Moon series up by the 7th of August. That's our goal date. We'll probably talk about some other stuff. I did watch Noragami recently, which I recommend. I thought it was really fun.
Same thing with Spy
Yeah.
Family. Spy Family was really good, really wholesome, and a better pink-haired child character than Chibiusa.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, all right. We will be letting y'all know next time we're heading out, but be sure to catch us on my radio show in other news. You can find it on my YouTube channel under Rachel Bloomstrom, or you can find us on k4radio.org, or if you're a local Chicago area, AM 1680. And yeah, this week, again, we'll be covering incels. So you can come laugh and be horrified all at once.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at Straw Hat Zach. Same place on TikTok. I don't really post that much on TikTok besides like movie trivia stuff. So if you'd like movie trivia, come check me out.
Yes, and definitely follow me on TikTok. I'm under Rachel Cherie. My middle name is spelled CHERIE and then BLOMS. It didn't put my whole name. So, but you can find me there, and I'm growing super political stuff there, but also random stuff. So, yep, check us out. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It really helps. And thank you. We'll see you next time when we critique some content. Hi, cousin.
Later. Bye.